Ajumwe. Kumende kuma.
Ngakubeza.
Molibeza ibevani. Kujapa. Nafikira ndokonde. Tabula ajumwe.
Tuchemwe.
Muli bwino koma.
Andi muli bwanji.
Tilipo. Kai kumene mwachoka kuno.
Menda njoka kose kwa bwino.
Ndimande kwa bwino ndinkandi taimva ya malipo.
Onkandi ndimene mwaimva kodi. Ndimene ndabwera bana.
Kadi yosangaza.
Mwana wadidzidzimutsa atadzidzimuka kwambiri wakhoza mayeso.
Mukatodzidzimuka chimene munachoza.
Simayembekezera kuti mali wakhoza mayeso. Ndendalama pokugwira tilibe chifoni mwana amusankhira ku mission ndesikula keso njokugonera konko
Achimwene. Inu rizimezi zokonzekera. Timadzaza kuti mwana ali mastande ili ndelo apita formal tufunika kusunga school fees. Ndende sikula sunga ndalama. Inu ndagulitsa limodzi foja chimanga chaka chimenechi. Ndalama zapita kuti.
Ndalama ndinapangira isi.
Achimwene mufunika kuphunzira kusunga ndalama pang'ono. Ndalama ati zimafunika kusunga kupewa nyengo ngati zimenezi. Kumasunga kanga chiko kamene makapeza. Mufunika kulima banki masako amene muthu kakhala konda account yomasunga kwa ndalama kumene. Inu chimafuta ndi chani?
Ndithu kusakazaka uja fofoso amalimba mayeso. Mayembekezo uyati patsampata mwadzidzidzi.
Ngati kholo mukena ukhawo yembekezera ndithu zonse zochitika.
Koma no nkhani yosunga ndalama ndife lomwe alimi.
Sizikulengera kuti ndi ndani. Kandi ndi alimi, kandi a business, kandi azinche. Kanga chepe mungapeze. Patulani ko pang'ono kuti musunge ndalama kupewa nyengo ngati zimenezi. Nanga patu kama za school fees, nanga rakhamaliro. Nanga matenda.
Khalani ochenjera nthawi zonse. Sungani ndalama zanu, gulani zinthu zokhazo zili pa bajeti kuti muthe kusunga ndalama.
Kusunga ndalama zanu ndi chinthu chofunika zedi. Samalani ndalama zanu lero.
Glad you could join us for our 7:30 news bulletin. My name is Tandi Zumara. Let's have a look at our top stories. Pope Francis warns against duplicity of heart at Sunday Angelus. Government moves to completely end malaria by 2030. Government hints on review of Tobacco Growers Act. And in other news, Uganda President Yoweri Museveni hits back over expulsion from US-Africa Trade Pact, AGOA. We do have the details of these stories and more. Just stay with us. During his Sunday Angelus address on November 5th, Pope Francis warned against living a double life, highlighting the dangers it presents for authentic Christian witness and its potential to create a crisis of credibility for the Church. The warning stemmed from the day's Gospel reading, in which Jesus warns against following the examples of the scribes and the Pharisees. We have more details on this Catholic News Agency report read by Bernard Wanza.
Quoting Matthew's Gospel, Pope Francis warned that in the chasm between words and external actions, there is the duplicity of heart that puts at risk the authenticity of our witness and our credibility as persons and as Christians, while acknowledging that because of the inherent fragility of the human condition, we experience a certain distance between what we say and what we do. The Pope went on to warn that having a duplicitous heart is something else instead. The Holy Father said this presents a grave risk both for internal spiritual life and as an outward expression of living as a Christian, jeopardizing the life of Christians and the Church's credibility. Following the Angelus, the Holy Father renewed his appeal for peace in the Israel-Hamas war, which broke out in early October after the terrorist group invaded Israel, asking that all efforts for a ceasefire be exalted, especially in light of the untenable humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. The Pope also asked for a special prayer intention for the people of Nepal, where a massive 5.7 earthquake hit the western province of Kanal. Rescue efforts are underway, and officials fear that the death toll, which is currently at 157, could rise, the BBC reported. He also made an appeal for the Afghan refugees who have found refuge in Pakistan, but now no longer know where to go. The Pope concluded his appeal by asking the faithful to pray for those in Italy who have been affected by the flooding.
The Malawi government has endorsed a malaria elimination strategy from 2023 to 2030, whose primary objective is to completely end malaria by the year 2030. Addressing the media on the sidelines for SADC Malaria Week earlier today, Minister of Health Kumize Kandolo Shibonda MP said 3/4 of the population is at risk of contracting malaria in the country. Shibonda advised Malawians that the fight against malaria is everyone's responsibility, thereby stressing the need for collaborative efforts in combating malaria. Charity Shilanga has more of the details.
In her remarks, Shibonda said SADC Malaria Week is an important week as the disease still poses a threat to the country's health, adding that it tops the table of diseases that tentatively kill pregnant women and under 5 children. The minister has, however, commended efforts by partners such as Momentum, World Vision, Global Fund, among others, in their quest to eliminating malaria in the country.
So this week we are reminding on what is it that we have to do as Malawi, as a region, but also globally. What is it that we can do so that at least what we are talking about, that let's eliminate malaria, by 2030 it should become a reality. Here in Malawi, just also to add that you remember that our state president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, he launched the Zero Malaria campaign, Starts With Me, which was launched in Liwonde. So this is also a drive towards the same, that we eliminate malaria by 2030. So,
meanwhile, Biswick Mali, World Vision Chief of Party, has commended the Malawi government for their interventions in the fight against malaria and has since promised to continue supporting the Malawi government in all aspects until the disease dies down.
Achieved. I think we have seen the decline in the number of malaria cases and also in the malaria deaths, which is quite good. And communities are very happy that they are seeing these benefits as far as the intervention is concerned. As I speak now, your colleagues, the media people, are in these 3 districts, basically to see for themselves the results, the outcome, and see the spraying. Because we started spraying for 2023 IRS campaign started in October.
Every second week of November was launched by SADC to celebrate and look forward on how they can maintain and pulse in the fight against malaria. This year's SADC Malaria Week is a resilient health system and community is key to malaria elimination. Charity Chilanga, Luntha Television, Lilongwe.
Health authorities have confirmed 9 cases of measles in Lilongwe, a development health experts say threatens the health system in the country. These cases, according to the officials, were discovered from 32 samples collected from community members in Area 36 on the 3rd of November 2023. A statement signed by the Secretary of Health, Samson Ndolo, says the disease has affected children below the age of 15, most of whom did not receive the recommended measles vaccination due to religious beliefs. Emmanuel Shiwocha has more details in this report.
The ministry says the outbreak has been confirmed in Area 36, Lilongwe, with a total number of 32 suspected cases recorded as of November 3, 2023. In an interview on Monday, the Ministry Secretary, Dr. Samson Mdolo, said government, with the support from its partners, has outlined various measures to contain the situation. He said this includes supplementary vaccination campaign to reach all affected children in the affected areas and extensive awareness campaign to educate the public about measles. Measles is a highly contagious disease that poses significant health risk, especially to children. Its symptoms encompass high fever, cough, runny nose, red and watery eye, sore throat, and distinctive rash or small red pox. For Luntha TV, this is Emmanuel Georgia.
The Youth and Society, YAS, has revealed that living conditions at Dzaleka refugee camp are the worst, as the camp now harbors almost 52,000 refugees and asylum seekers, 4 times the designated number. This was revealed on Sunday during a public dialogue on the affairs of refugees and asylum seekers in Malawi, which World Hunger Life, the Biwa Church, organized in Lilongwe. The camp was initially set to cater for 10,000 people. Jacqueline Saidi was there.
During the meeting, it was revealed that the relocation exercise of the refugees that took place a few months ago worsened the situation. Speaking in an interview following the dialogue, Executive Director for Youth and Society, Charles Kajoloweka, said there are serious implications of the relocation of refugees on humanitarian point of view. Kajoloweka noted that the level of the crisis brought about by the exercise is huge and that congestion of the camp tops it all, as the people are not living in good conditions, which directly and indirectly is affecting the well-being of the refugees and asylum seekers.
And our current government has been for government to reconsider its position on the location exercise, so that we know we can prevent these serious violations that continue to happen. Number 2 is that we're encouraging government to embark on law reform to ensure that we align the refugee laws with the Constitution, which has a Bill of Rights, as well as the international human rights law.
On her part, Senior Administrative and Operations Manager in the Department of Refugees in the Ministry of Homeland Security, Hilda Gausiwa, said although the situation has worsened, the exercise was supposed to be done and that the facilitators followed the rules that Malawi as a country put in place in that regard. Gausiwa further said the exercise is an ongoing one, thereby calling on the refugees and asylum seekers to always do things by the books and not be flouting the procedures set by the government for their own safety and security.
Well, the relocation exercise is an ongoing exercise following the directive from government. This directive was put in place following the rules that we have in Malawi. When we ratified the conventions to host refugees, we said Malawi adopted the encampment policy, which basically means that every refugee is supposed to reside in a designated camp. So currently as a country, our designated camp is Dzaleka refugee camp, and we noted that people were flouting these procedures. The refugees are supposed to abide by the laws of the country, and most of them were flouting these laws and finding themselves outside the camp. So we're just trying to enforce that policy to ensure that everyone is staying within the designated camp.
Meanwhile, INWA Advocacy and Liaison Officer Machona Pire called on government to activate the mechanisms and institutions responsible for following up complaints lodged by the victims of the violations that were reported during the relocation exercise.
We have laws in place that can adequately respond to these issues. Anybody that is guilty of raping another person, I'm sure we do have a law for that. And what government needs to do is actually activate its mechanisms and institutions that are responsible for following up such cases.
Reports indicate that there have been a number of violations towards the refugees and asylum seekers, including assault, rape, police forcefully taking money from the refugees, and illegal detention. For Luntha Television News, this is Jacqueline Saidi.
Remember that you're watching news coming to you live from Bishop Neve Media Center. And now we'll take a short break and we'll be back with more right after this.
Wow, hi Nancy. Wow, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
But how have you managed to, to have this beautiful and well-stocked shop, Nancy?
My friend, these things don't come on a silver platter.
Tell me about it.
You need to invest. I had to grow my money. I grew every single penny that I made out of my monthly savings. You know what? Sometimes you don't just have to use all the money that you get. You really need to make an investment. So, yeah, this is it.
But where do I start? I get so little money and I'm thinking that, is it possible to reach this far?
My friend, it doesn't mean that you should have all the money in the world. Come on. You can save even the little money that you get each month. There are so many ways of making an investment.
Really?
Yes, this could be investing in financial assets. You can make a fixed and savings deposits with commercial banks. You can buy an insurance policy. You can invest in treasury bills. You can also invest in physical assets like commodities or property.
Make a decision today. Invest your money to accomplish your goals.
Ajimwene bize tsono piri ineri ndikusirira moyo wanu wa monali renchi muli ndi nyumba ija mukumanga ija olusimalize kukoma muli ndi ng'ombe muli ndi mbuzi abaka ndende osanena munapanga bwanji kuti mufike pamene
balaga zimafuna olimba mtima komanso zimatenga nyengo chimene chimachitika ndionena kuti zimafuna ndalama zimene inu ndine timapeza mwa tsiku lililonse mabizinesi osiyanasiyana pang'ono katika kugwira kantchito timazitenga ndikusonkhanitsa pamodzi kumasunga pang'ono ndikumayika m'mabizinesi kuzidzala ndalama.
Phiri apa ndiye mwandithandiza kodi kudzala ndalama ine ndingayambire pati
m'bale wanga nkhani yodzala ndalama si nkhani yapatali kwenikweni koma imafuna kudekha komanso kupirira chifukwa imatenga kanthawi pang'ono.
Phiri koma ndi mmene mwaneneramu sikofunika ndalama zambiri zimene
monga mwachitsanzo kupita ku banki kukasiya ndalama zanu pang'ono ndikukhala ndi mapulani oti muthu opangira zina zake ndi amafuna ukadaulo oti mukafunse kwa anthu amene amazitsata zimene za bankizo komanso muthu kugula mashares ku makampani osiyanasiyana khalenso kumanga nyumba kumene kuti mudzitolera tapa mwezi tichi ndi chimodzi onse ndiye kudzala ndalama
koma ndiye wazama kwambiri mzanga
zona kumayenda ndi nthawi mukuziwa amene dziko lichitikira pano mafuna mapulani pang'ono kumasunga zinthu moti nyumba ikusaija tikhoma.
Khazikitsani cholinga chanu lero. Dzalani ndalama kuti mukwaniritse cholinga chanucho.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, know that you're watching news coming to you live from Bishop Neve Media Center, and with me, Tandy Wenzmara. Before I proceed, let's have another look at the headlines. Pope Francis warns against duplicity of heart at Sunday Angelus. Government moves to completely end malaria by 2030. Government hints on review of Tobacco Growers Act. And in other news, Uganda President Yoweri Museveni hits back over expulsion from US-Africa Trade Pact, AGOA. The Minister of Agriculture, Sam Gawali, has hinted on the need to review the current Tobacco Growers Act in line with the demands of the tobacco farmers and marketers at large. Gawali said during a press conference on Tuesday in Lilongwe that the tabling of the amendments will take shape before the current sitting of the National Assembly. The minister also said the restructuring will involve concerned parties to address the much-touted challenges. Herbert Katanda filed this report.
Among others, the third clause of the current Tobacco Act states that no person other than an officer from the ministry shall issue seed to any tobacco grower or domestic tobacco grower, and no such grower shall grow tobacco except from seed issued to him by an officer of the ministry. However, Kawali said farmers have been complaining of undergoing tough measures to be certified growers of the golden leaf. He further said government is looking at necessary measures on how they would soften them without creating a loophole.
We need to have new laws that will protect the farmers, who are the growers, the graders, the transporters, as well as the buyers. We are pleased to inform you that we do have a law in place, the new tobacco bill, which is addressing these issues so that our farmers are protected, the growers, the transporters, as well as the buyers. So the new law is coming in Parliament very soon.
Tobacco Control Commission Chief Executive Officer Chidante Malunga said the Commission has received over 10,000 requests from farmers who want to participate in this year's tobacco growing season. Tobacco still remains the country's main foreign exchange earner, bringing about 60% of forex. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, I'm Herbert Katanda.
Police in Kawari have lauded the almost 100% increase in men reported cases to the unit this year in comparison to last year, attributing the increase to awareness campaigns that they have been conducting for men and women, encouraging them to be visiting its victim support unit. The unit's personnel, Sergeant Yohane Juma, disclosed that most of the reported cases are of men complaining of being denied their conjugal rights by their wives. According to Juma, they have also seen an increase in women-related cases from January to October this year. Robert Edward has more details.
In 2022, 52 men visited the victim support unit at the Kawale police station between January and October after an intensified campaign. But same period this year, the number of men giving their complaints has hit 175. According to the Sergeant Yohane Juma of the station's victim support unit, many of the complaints are to do with wives denying husbands conjugal rights.
We can say that there's a very big improvement between the men. In fact, in 2022, we registered a few cases that was reported from men compared to 2023. For example, in 2022, only 58 men came and reported the cases, compared to 2023, whereby 175 men came and reported the cases.
But the station takes pride in the increase of the reported cases, owing it to the intensified sensitization campaigns with the communities to be reporting matters to police, which, according to Juma, this shows people's trust in the men in uniform. In 2022, 502 women complained to the victim support unit between January and October, but this year, same period, the number has hit 629. Men have been perceived to being introvert when it comes to reporting matters to police, but the police may be putting a yardstick in reversing the trend. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Now, in other news, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has downplayed the United States' decision to expel the East African country from a major trade deal. Last week, US President Joe Biden announced Uganda and 3 other countries would be dropped from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. The US had previously said it might take such action after Uganda passed a tough new anti-homosexuality law. We have more details in this BBC News Africa report read by Andrew Pound.
Writing on X, formerly Twitter, on Sunday, Museveni urged Ugandans not to be over-concerned, saying as far as Uganda is concerned, they have the capacity to achieve their growth and transformation targets, even if some of the actors do not support them. AGOA, introduced in 2000, gives eligible sub-Saharan African countries duty-free access to the US for more than 1,800 products. Under this deal, Uganda has been exporting goods like coffee and textiles to the United States for years without paying any import tax. However, the US is not one of Uganda's main export markets, so the expansion is unlikely to cause too much economic distress. Ahead of the 20th AGOA Forum in South Africa, Biden reviewed plans to expel Uganda, Gabon, Niger, and the Central African Republic. He said the removal of CAR and Uganda from the program was due to gross violations of internationally recognized human rights by their governments. Biden went to say that Niger and Gabon, both of which are currently under military rule following coups, are ineligible for AGOA because they have established or are not making continual progress toward establishing the protection of political pluralism and the rule of law. The expulsion from AGOA is set to take effect from the start of next year.
That BBC News Africa report read by Andrew Pound also brings us to the end of what we had for you in this edition of our news bulletin. But before we leave, here's a reminder of our top stories. Pope Francis warns against duplicity of heart at Sunday Angelus. Government moves to completely end malaria by 2030. Government hints on review of Tobacco Growers Act. And in other news, Uganda President Yoweri Museveni hits back over expulsion from US-Africa Trade Pact, AGOA. My name is Tandi Wemzamara. Thank you so much for keeping me company, and do continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye for now, and stay safe.